Hello, and welcome back to the Omnioto channel. Today I will be discussing about a very concerning topic that's going around. If you pop open your web browser, I guarantee you the first thing you will be seeing is some type of news article about ticks and how they've been recently just showing up in random spots that there never were before and the type of Lyme disease that they're bringing. So let's go ahead and dive into this, the modern mystery of the ticks. People have been increasingly concerned about mysterious objects appearing along hiking trails and rural farmlands. A viral social media wave recently claimed the landowners were discovering literal tick boxes left on their private properties.
Weird stuff.
However, investigative reporting by the health experts reveals a different ecological reality. These are actually rodent bait boxes, a commercially manufactured to target pest control. Their secured stations are lured in for white-footed mice, and they brush their fur with a mild insecticide. That way it can eliminate the tick host of Lyme disease before it spreads to humans. Even so, independent farmers are rejecting these interventions, preferring their own traditional methods of managing pests and protecting livestock without government assistance or unannounced equipment placed on their land. I mean, let's be honest. If it's your land, why the heck would you want the government even on it unless they're paying you something? That's what I always say. In the US, there is currently a total of 90 different species of ticks, and they're all ranging from different habitats, from coastal sides cliffs to your backyard on the trees. And currently, there is no FDA approved human vaccination for Lyme disease. However, pharmaceutical developer Pfizer, I'm gonna try to put that in there, in partnerships with Valneva, recently concluded a phase 3 clinical trials for an investigational vaccine candidate known as the PF 07307-405. But listen to this. Even though they're developing this Lyme vaccine, it is not a promise. So what are you really going to be having in that vaccination? What is really going to be put in there? I mean, everyone has their own theories when it comes to Pfizer and what they have been giving us since the COVID vaccinations. The vaccination itself is showing that there's still a chance of you staying sick due to all the other bacteria that comes from a tick. So how many more boosters will they start to come afterwards with them? Now, while the internet leaks previous field speculation, official industry statements confirm that the company plans to file the regulatory approval targeting an official commercial rollout by the end of the second half of 2027. This rapid development has driven independent creators to closely scrutinize the corporate infrastructure behind global health, pointing institutional shareholders like Vanguard and BlackRock alongside of massive global health research grants provided by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Just hearing BlackRock mixed in this whole situation just sounds alarming. BlackRock is that one company that has been side by side all these big projected companies that have caused a lot of damage to us. And also, if you guys remember, there is a big conspiracy with Pfizer after one of their workers, Jordan Walker, was recorded saying some crazy stuff on camera.
You really did.
Lock the door. Lock the door. We're trying to unlock the door. Unlock the door.
Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public. No, don't tell anyone this. You probably shouldn't tell anyone. You probably shouldn't tell anyone. Okay? We're exploring, like, now, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is, like, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could create undeveloped develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, like, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses. You have to be, like, very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something that, like, goes everywhere.
Something crazy.
Is the way that the virus started in Wuhan. To be honest, like, it makes no sense that this virus popped out of nowhere. And, like,
Hey there. Is this seat taken? You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? I'm literally a liar. I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying. This is absurd.
Please don't touch me. Well, this is not. By the way,
Why are you doing
don't
this?
tell anybody.
This is someone who's just working at a company to literally help the public. You f***ed up. You really did. Please bring the cops as soon as possible. I'm really very unsafe.
Can you please unlock your door?
No, don't let them leave.
Please unlock the door.
Give me what is going on
us our
here?
stuff.
How's that?
Please unlock. Please unlock the door. Please unlock the door. Unlock the door. The door. We're trying to unlock the door. Unlock the door.
On January 27, 2023, Pfizer issued a formal press release to set the record straight. The statement detailed the exact parameters of their laboratory research. Pfizer just flatly denied anything. They denied any involvement with their worker, but they also talked about how during the Paxlovid development, they altered the SARS-CoV-2 virus in a secure laboratory if known mutations could be resistant to the treatment. They had also said this was just something that is usually conducted to verify that there are still existing vaccines that can produce neutralizing antibodies. So they had said. Now let's talk about Pfizer's biggest funders, BlackRock and Vanguard. They have weird cases of funding for biological testings. We can go back further on BlackRock. See, BlackRock was actually founded in 1985, but it has also been backed up by their parent company called Blackstone, a group that has also been funding numerous of government agencies with their research for biological weapons. To understand why the public remains so intensely vigilant about the government health initiatives, one only has to look at the declassified archives of American history. For years, lawmakers like New Jersey's Representative Chris Smith has filed formal inquiries demanding that the Pentagon fully disclose Cold War-era research on vector-borne pathogens. The history is well documented. In 1950, the U.S. Navy conducted Operation Sea Spray, releasing large clouds of bacteria over the coast of San Francisco to track how the simulated pathogens would drift over civilian populations. A decade later, under the Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, the military authorized Project 112, a vast biological and chemical testing program. Decades later, a formal government accountability office audit confirmed that tens of thousands of citizens and military personnel were exposed to the experimental agents during these secret trials. More on them later. Now, Pfizer is actually being given a multi-million-dollar grant from the company by Bill and Melinda Gates for their global health research. And again, I can't stress how much we've all been seeing what's going on with the Bill Gates stuff. His mission to stop people from populating more and for him to try to make sure people get this whole synthetic meat in their system or appeal vegetables that never age, supposedly. This man who's like a couple of years from being at the doorstep of the Grim Reaper wants to take us with him. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has committed more than $30.6 billion to vaccine research. Biotech Corp's targeted research for medical and sickle cell. Now, you guys probably hear a lot about a certain tick that's making headlines more than any other ones. Talking about the Lone Star tick. This Lone Star tick gives you the alpha gal syndrome, an allergy that makes you violently allergic to red meat from any kinds of animals that are mammal, and also dairy, some of them. The Lone Star was native to the eastern, southern, and the south central of United States and some parts of Mexico. So now in the Pacific West areas, we're seeing a lot more of this, and also in the inlands. But we're also catching videos of people saying they're finding random boxes found in their farmlands and their side hikes and everything.
We have no clue who these people are or what they're doing, but they're on our fucking top field. Who the fuck? What are y'all even doing? Oh, no, not you. That's on this fuck. Literally in our top field. Oh, there they go.
So now in the Pacific West areas, we're seeing a lot more of this, and also in the inlands. But we're also catching videos of people saying they're finding random boxes found in their farmlands and their side hikes and everything. So let's just connect the two for now. So
I'm out here mushroom hunting and I found, there it is right there, the tick box. I'm not going to touch it because there's ticks all over that thing. I know there is. Look at them crawling out of it. Millions of them. You can see the tick. I'm out here mushroom hunting and I found.
put on the tinfoil hat because this is where things get kind of weird. Sickle cell disease is a group of inherited rare blood cell disorder. If you carry it, it is inherited to the children as long as one parent has the trait of it. Sickle cell disease does not inherently make you allergic to specific food. However, allergy sensitivities and intolerance to certain foods can trigger inflammation because of this individual with the sickle cell anemia. This often needs to be carefully monitored when they eat iron-rich foods like meat and liver. Also are likely to have some type of lactose intolerance. Now, you're asking, how would this relate to that, right? Well, in 2019, July 22nd, there was a publish on the conversation.com website by an author named Michelle Bentley, who did her research about the US having a history on testing biological weapons on the public and if ticks were used. Yup, that's right. House of Representatives have instructed the Pentagon to disclose whether the use of ticks to infect the American public with Lyme disease between 1950s to 1975. The allegation comes from Chris Smith, the Republican representative from New Jersey, a long-standing campaigner on Lyme disease. Now, Chris claims that the man named Willie Bergdorf, who is the founder of the bacteria for Lyme disease, was part of that group, who were in charge of making biological weapons during the World War II. Although none of this evidence was available at that time, later on it would be. The U.S. Navy carried out an Operation Sea Spray on the coast of San Francisco and California that was used to spray with two types of bacteria, Bacillus globigii and Serratia marcesum. I'm going to put the names up there because I probably butchered them. These bacteria are supposed to be safe, but Bacillus is now listed as a pathogen cause for food poisoning and can hurt anyone with a weak immune system. As for Serratia, 11 people were admitted to the hospital with serious bacterial infections after the San Francisco test. In 1951, tests were also carried out on Norfolk Naval Supply Ship in the center of Virginia. This is a massive base that equips the U.S. Navy. Fungal spores were dispersed to see how they would infect workers unpacking the crates. Most of the workers were African American, and the scientists wanted to test a theory that African Americans were more susceptible to fungal disease than Caucasians were. I'm gonna let that sink in just for a little bit. In 1997, the National Researcher Council revealed that the US used chemical weapons to test potential biological weapons in the 1950s. Sulfide was dispersed by plane and sprayed over a number of cities, including St. Louis, Missouri, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. These cities were chosen because they were similar to the Soviet targets, such as the Moscow, in the terms of terrain. So they claimed, even though the council concluded that no one was hurt from the level of chemicals since they were deemed supposedly not to be harmful. And in 2012, a sociology professor named Lisa Martino claimed that there was a spike in cancer rates that could be connected back to the chemicals, which she alleges were radioactive. But all this stuff all goes back to ticks and how the ticks are being used as biological weapons. Even though you can try to find more information about this, it's not going to come out until it gets declassified. And sadly, that's probably going to be a thing where they get declassified later on, and it's showing that they were testing these things so they can build our immune system. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to add the two and two that one, you have a company that is owned by Bill Gates who's funding the trees, having nothing but male trees. They have the funding for these getting rid of mosquitoes by making bioengineered mosquitoes who are still living on an island that haven't died. And I'm talking about these mosquitoes are supposed to be dead by now. They don't have a lifespan, but they're floating in an island privately until they die. And I'm probably pretty sure you're not going to hear about that until they finally do and it gets declassified. But I'm not the only one who's on this as a speculation. I mean, there's also videos of other people who agree with me. Matter of fact, just check out these videos.
Really crazy.
And, and ticks. Watch that thing.
The tick thing is nuts.
Yeah,
especially
because of meat, because of Gates.
Well, there's
Bill
boxes
Gates, not
people
Matt.
are finding. I don't know if this is true because I've seen many reports on it, but I'm just going to say what I saw. That farmers and ranchers are finding boxes of ticks on their property. Now, I don't know if that's fake. I don't know if someone's setting that up to pretend they found these boxes of ticks, but there's videos of these people finding boxes of ticks.
Now, what they'll say is they'll probably say they're sterile ticks and that we're planting them out there so we can diminish the population, is what they'll say. But anytime they try to mess with the balance of nature, it never goes right.
Is that what they're saying? This is
No, but just get ready.
That's what you think?
You're getting it right here.
I don't believe you have a right to go to someone's property and drop off sterile ticks.
No way in hell.
That's crazy either way. But I have a good friend of mine who got bit by the Lone Star tick and has that alpha gal problem.
Yeah, a guy came out of my house yesterday looking at putting gutters up at our house. And dadgum, he said, and I said, you did what? He goes, yeah, I can't eat any meat produced by a mammal.
Yes.
I was like,
yeah. So my buddy, he had it, and my friend Evan, so he had it for a little while, and then he did a bunch of treatments and got off of it and then started eating steak again. And he was fine for about a year and a half, and then it came back stronger than ever. And he just can't shake it.
It's been around that long.
So yeah, he can only eat eggs. I mean, he's basically eating eggs and vegetables. That's all he's eating. And every time he tries to deviate, he has a horrible reaction. It makes, for people that don't know, it makes your body allergic to red meat.
Right. And who has got genetically made meat now?
Yeah. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, well, they're doing things with mosquitoes, and they're messing around with nature in a way that no one's given you permission to. The general public does not want you doing this. If they could vote on it, they'd say no way.
So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if
the cases of Lyme disease are going up, the CDC estimates there are 500,000 cases a year. That's on average 1,300 people a day.
Where do we think this came from?
Lyme disease wasn't a problem till the peak of the biological weapons program in the U.S., the mid-70s. These three freaky diseases showed up. Lyme arthritis, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and then there was a parasite called Babesia.
So you have a cluster of these previously rare diseases right across from the U.S. government's biological weapons testing facility. Is that what you're saying?
This is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke.
It's hard to digest all of this. It's just so evil.
We can't control nature. And if we're going to play God and make these new germs inside ticks, there could be blowback, unintended consequences, and that's what I believe.
So I just want to play this for you.
So one is that people eat too much meat. right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big.
And some of the bosses are people like Bill Gates, right? So now Bill Gates funded research into genetically engineered cattle ticks. Now 450,000 Americans have red meat allergies from alpha-gal syndrome caused by tick bites. And I like this meme. How does a guide to get to block the sun, cover your organic fruit in film, insert fake meat into the supply chain?
Well, that's all I got for you guys today. So if you made it this long and you were watching, please like the video, subscribe if you want to keep this type of content in your algorithm, and just know if you guys want to watch some of my comedy stuff, it's always going to be on my shorts. I'd rather keep the comedy as a short thing. And when it comes to like paranormal videos or something that's pushing their agenda into the light, I'm going to post it on as a longer video. But until then, if you're liking my content, please, please, please like the videos. I appreciate when you guys do. It really helps a lot. I don't care about the stuff that's going on from YouTube. It just gives me the courage to do this more because I really like doing this. So if you guys can, please like the channel, like the videos, like the shorts. And if you guys ever want to know what kind of games I'm playing in the background, ask in the comment. I will literally tell you. I mean, you can always look it up, but I like to reply on the comments because, like I said, it builds up the courage. So until then, thank you guys. You guys have a good one.